Hey everyone, I hope this finds you well. So I've been wanting to do these videos, full moon energy updates for the last probably 18 months, if not a little bit longer. But like with many things, life moves forward. So many other things that I've been cultivating and nurturing and bringing into life, that it never happened until now, and it seems like it can all bolt together. Um, I just wanted to kind of, take a pause in time to explore the energy of now. This is what these kind of updates are going to be, exploring the energy of now and what potentially it's saying to us, what potentially it's stirring up in us, potentially what it is nourishing and nurturing and teaching us. So I've just returned from the buffet. I've spent around about 5-6 hours sowing trays of seeds, planting out. And here's some of my thoughts around today. I just kind of found myself, as I was tending that garden, I was gently listening to my thoughts and working that tiny patch of land. And I noticed that, it's become a real form of meditation. My mind and my thoughts wandering, almost dreaming in between this world and the other, yet held securely within the 5-bar gate. I think there's been many spiritual orders that have worked the land, from Gnostic mystics to the Benedictine, even the Taoist monks, have all farmed and they've all worked the land, and many of them even grew hops and herbs and made ales and beers out of them. And that, when I kind of think of that, it always makes me smile. Yet they formed a very conscious relationship with the land, interconnected. And there's many a time where I'm down there and I'm working. If I'm working by myself, as in there's no one else really around, I often find a presence watching, and when I kind of tune in, it is Eden, and I feel that they're teaching me so much. Even today, as I worked with those seeds, as I watered them, I've come back into touch or come back into contact with the importance of energizing that water, or what's known as chaiing the water, and energizing it, and then energizing the seeds and placing them into the soil. It's all done very consciously, it's all done very delicately, at the same time dreaming and allowing the mind to wander. It has become a natural form of meditation. There's that sense of just becoming very present and very rooted and very grounded, and nurturing the seeds, and also in turn that kind of land, and working with the land and working with nature also nurtures you. It is a conscious relationship. And I found last week, we're talking about the energy and the energy of now. Last week I had this kind of urge to kind of just clean, almost spring clean our humble little home. And as I did, as I finished, I felt this overwhelming, not overwhelming in a bad way, but overwhelming urge to literally shave my head. And I did. And it felt so cleansing, like a renewal. And here we are on full moon, and I didn't kind of join that up, but it just felt a natural kind of urge to do, and it feels like a cleansing and a renewal of such. But the other thing that really kind of stirred up in me afterwards is its simplicity, and importantly, it's kind of honesty. It's stripped back, nothing more, nothing less, just revealing the bare bones. And I think that's, without a shadow of a doubt, that's the energy of now. It's about just stripping everything back, nothing more, nothing less, just its bare, honest truth, the bare bones. And I feel lighter, and I also feel deeply content. I found myself, as I was working today, planting those seeds on this full moon, but it's also a super moon. In my mind just drifting, reflecting over these last few months, its losses. Many people, will know of people that have lost people during this time. And I think the other side of that is also the gifts, and how all of this has impacted humanity. But I really do feel it's what happens next that is really, really important, because I'm sensing another seismic shift in the world. And mainly because I think as the world slowly attempts to kind of open back up, the effects of which, are going to ripple so far and so wide. We're kind of held at the moment, and we're held in this literal bubble, and I also feel that we're held in this energetic bubble. Yet there is going to be another seismic shift as the world slowly begins to open up. And I think, I've heard people say, we'll be back to normal in a few weeks, define normal, and we are not going to be back to normal in a couple of weeks. There's nothing normal about where we're going, in the sense of it is going to be unrecognisable. What is behind us is gone. That's it. That's gone. That's the old world, without a shadow of a doubt. What's ahead of us is a new world, and it ain't gonna just happen. It's going to take time, and there is, a lot to consider. The effects of which are going to ripple out so far and so wide for a very long time to come. My feelings. I feel, being honest, that there is going to be a level of emotional scarring for many people, that is going to outlive the pandemic, and we are only at the start of a different type of recovery. Potentially, I feel there could be like a mental health pandemic ahead, and I don't say that lightly. I think it's because this is so unrecognisable for many people. I think there's two polarities in the world: those that are just moving through this and kind of somehow having a very lighter experience, and there's those that are having a very traumatic experience. And I think that we need to not lose sight of both of those kind of polarities. There is this almost like this deep separation, or this deep kind of divide between one reality and another. And I do feel, potentially there will be a kind of mental health pandemic ahead, for people that have not been used to isolation or stopping at this level. Our healers and our counsellors are going to become possibly the frontline workers of the future. There is going to be a real tangible need and requirement for community. I felt that bubbling up all of last year. Many of you will know that through my previous videos. And within that tangible kind of need of community, with its kind of fire circles and places to eat, to share, to connect, to share stories of 2020, you know, the year the world changed forever, and many people will not know. You know, this is why I think there's going to be like some trauma or a mental health pandemic going ahead, because there is going to be some people that just don't know how to navigate the change. And I think that simple community spaces that are led from the heart, as the experiences and the pain almost spills out beyond the conventional therapy room, there's going to be a requirement for those community spaces, you know, simple, stripped back spaces that allow people to kind of almost come together, sit in circles around a fire. That to me, you know, feels like it's very sacred somehow, sitting and eating together. You know, kind of moving back into community, and community has the innate ability to heal the community around it and support through the generations and the elders, and all the way down to the little ones, you know, and that's how it was done always. You know, and these are some of the thoughts that I've been having today as I've been working, you know, sitting in those circles around a fire. It does become sacred. Sitting and eating together, you know, may we never take that for granted ever again. You know, I remember today reaching for my spade and my mind wandering again, and I started to think about something that I saw recently. If you haven't watched it, and you're here in the UK, and I think you can watch it in the US, maybe it's going to be rolled out around the world as well. If you haven't watched it, Normal People, I urge you to. It's so raw, real and powerful, and almost heartbreaking all at once, and it's tender, and it's beautiful. You know, the characters within that are portrayed with so much heart. It's incredible, it's mesmerising, yet at the same time it's brutally honest, yet beautifully done. Hand on heart, some of the best acting I've ever seen and watched in my life, by Daisy Edgar Jones and Paul Mescal. Their chemistry is kind of out of this world. What they've created will be a story that will be carried, I believe, to the end of time. It's surreal, you know, that in a way that its release falls in amongst all of this. And if you go and watch it, you'll absolutely understand why I say that. And it was, you know, it was a random event that it was released during this time. As I always say, you know, never random, never by chance, always by design. But somehow it was random, but yet it feels like by design, because it carries such a powerful message. You know, it carries a profound story of the importance of our innate desire for human connection, for love. And within that story, there's pain, there's trauma, and that kind of, you know, story of just sometimes some lives just seem to line up. They seem to just align between people. And it reminds us, you know, it reminds us really deeply what it is to be human, and our innate instinct to connect. And, you know, for me, it kind of lovingly shoves you on a journey, and it shoves you on a journey again inwardly. And I was thinking about all of that, and I glanced up, looked up, and there was two magpies watching from the edge of the plot. And I just smiled, and I closed my eyes, and I just felt the sun on my face. And I just kind of stood there, again pausing, just absorbing, just listening. And that's something I've really learned over all the years of doing the work that I do with the innate and the unseen, is to listen, but listen with every fibre of your being. And I think that's what these energy updates are about. They're encouraging you to listen to the energy of now, and how is it speaking to you, because it may be speaking to you very differently to how it's speaking to me, because every one of our experiences, they may have common threads, but they're going to be very different. There's going to be differences within them. So what is it saying to you? You know, this is what I'm sharing with you, and this is what it's saying to me, but what is it saying to you? And I think what we can take from it that is going to be a common, solid, tangible thread that is going to be universal is that there is going to be another seismic shift just about to happen as the world begins to open back up. And I think that the key and the real takeaway that you can take from that is that not to get swept up in the speed again as the wheels begin to turn. I think that we've had a rare, once in a lifetime opportunity to really anchor, to really slow down, to really go within, to really look at what's important. That it could be eroded and dissolved very quickly if we don't consciously move into this seismic shift that's about to happen as the world begins to open up. I think if we can consciously move into it and move into it on our terms and know what is important to you and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and where your values are. And that's the other thing that's really coming up is values. And I think that's the thing for me, you know, it's like everything being stripped back to the bare bones that's what's really, really important to me. And I remember looking in the mirror and going, do you know what? That I'm really, really happy with. That stripped back, natural, no nonsense, no rubbish. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. You know, and it's about knowing where you are and what's really important to you. So it's an energy update for May 2020. I'd like to continue them. Please do share where you find yourself, what resonates with you from this video, and what your thoughts are. As always, I'd love to hear them. I am going to be in the next week, next Friday, I'm going to be releasing a video about, I've been asked by one of our lovely subscribers to do a video on ancestral lines and healing your ancestral lines. So look forward to doing that. Look forward to connecting with you. And as always, keep shining. Speak soon.